Everyone, welcome to our very first episode of the Culture series. Today we have Ms. Sujietra Jayaseelan. A brief introduction of Ms. Sujietra. Born in Malaysia in 1975, Sujietra Jayaseelan is the eldest of three siblings who comes with a rich and varied experience in the field of arts, education and community development. She graduated with BSc in Applied Chemistry from the University of Malaya. Arts is a big part of Sujietra's life. She has been trained in Carnatic music since the tender age of 3. Sujietra's career and passion revolves around non-profit work. Sugam, a niche non-profit organization she established with her sisters in 2003 that marries her lifelong love for performing arts and her passion to transform lives. Sugam comprises Sugam Culture and Heritage Foundation, which aims at societal transformation through arts and culture and its two teaching schools, namely Sugam Karnatica, which is dedicated to the development of children and youth by providing quality and affordable arts education for all Sugam, and Sugam Samskar for the dissemination of Vedic value to the younger generation. Her portfolio in Sugam, Sujietra is the founding president of the foundation and executive director of Sugam Karnatica. In 2021, she was awarded the Outstanding Woman Leadership Award by the Woman Icon, and recently she was awarded the prestigious title of Acharya Ratna by the legendary Dr. T. V. Gopalakrishnan of India. Thank you, Ms. Sujietra, for being a part of our very first episode. So without further ado, let's get started with our first question. So, challenges. What are the challenges that you faced being a cultural artist in Malaysia?
Firstly, thank you so much for this opportunity, I would say. Challenges as a cultural artist. Well, in Malaysia, cultural awareness or cultural education is very scarce. So, when it is scarce, the awareness is very little. So, as an artist, it's very difficult to reach the masses. So, we have always remained as a very niche industry. That is not just me. Every other cultural artist face in Malaysia the same issue.
Right, thank you so much, Miss, for the answer. Our second question to you is, what made you gravitate towards Carnatic music and choosing it to be your career path, something less conventional, especially in an Asian setting?
Okay. Firstly, gravitate towards Carnatic music, I don't think so, because it's like has always been part of my life since I was a kid. So actually, I do not know what is not being in Carnatic music. So that's the only thing I've known. It's like, you Asians, we've been taught to eat rice since young, right? So you don't know how it is not to eat rice, So it's just like that. So I wouldn't say I gravitated. It's just I've always been in Carnatic music since I was very young. So I do not know any other. So Carnatic music, when I started off my career, it wasn't my career path. As I told you, it was part of my life. So I pursued something else as my career. I graduated as a applied chemist from University of Malaya. I pursued to do my master's in public administration, and I also did another master's in business administration. And currently I'm doing my PhD in educational management and policy, which has got nothing to do with Carnatic music. So my career path is something very different, but music has always been in my life. So and it has always been I would say side by side, alongside my career from the day I started. It's always been there. So I've always had Sugam as something I would do over the weekend or every other time even when I didn't have time. Sugam was always there. We were continuously doing it. We started in 2003. So, and I don't think I'll ever think of this work as my career, but it is my passion. It is my life. Yeah, career can change, but music work and this Carnatic music work is my life. So I will do it till the end.
Thank you so much, Miss. For the third question, in your opinion, where do you think classical music stands in society today, and predominantly Carnatic music? I mean, we can give a brief explanation on classical music in general and then go on to Carnatic music.
classical music is classic. It will always remain like that. It's very artsy-fartsy. It's very niche. I think it will always be like that because actually I've lived quite for a while and I haven't seen it change even in history or till now. And I don't see it changing in the future. But like for Carnatic music, it's even more niche. But of course, in Malaysia, it's too small, right? But if you look at it globally, Carnatic music is niche just like any other classical music. Carnatic music is South Indian classical, so it comes into the classical music genre. So it is niche, and it will remain niche. But the classicness will always be there, and it plays a very important role in cultural preservation, in heritage preservation, and in forming the identity of a person. So to me, I strongly believe that every individual must, no matter how modern, pop, or whatever, reggae, R&B, whatever you are, however modern or in line with the day-to-day, whatever is happening at this time, but you must always learn, or you must always embrace your heritage, because that's what forms your identity.
That was a very beautiful answer. I think our next question kind of goes into what you said about it being part of your identity. Personally, how did learning Carnatic music benefit you growing up? And was there an instance where you felt embarrassed, or was there this consistent love for Carnatic music and you always took pride in being a practitioner?
Okay, I'll give you all honest answers, okay? As I told you, this was something that we learned since we're young. So actually, I didn't know what it is not to learn music. So as we were learning, we never felt that we loved it or nothing like that. It's just that we went for classes, we learned it, like how we learned math and science and history and geography. It's not like you were in love with it, but you know that you had to learn it, right? So that's how I was. I learned it. And when I stepped out of school, when I went into varsity, I realized that, hey, it's not like that for everyone. Looks like I'm the only one who knows this. I felt that when I stepped out. When I was in school, I had no idea, because we don't talk about all this with friends, right? So I realized, hey, and not many people know what this is, so better keep quiet about it. Then people start picking you up in university. Hey, you know music, right? You can sing, right? Why don't you represent the college? Oh, I'm being of use now. Okay, great. So that's how slowly the awareness came to me as a I was just like any other student, like, oh, I know something more than some others. And then as I matured into an adult, then only I realized how much this music has influenced, changed, or maybe even impacted the way I thought about life, the way I dealt with situations, the way I think. It really was different from many others who were not musically or artistically trained. Then only as we started maturing, in the adult life, then you are reading about research, what research has done for individuals, and say, hey, it has done it for me. I am a byproduct of this whatever research that has been done. Yeah, slowly, only then you realize that what you have learned and what you have got is unique, because music has given that to me.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sujietra. I think Sanjay and myself will have to agree. I think growing up, we might have not realized the benefits of learning the arts, but now that we are in university, realizing that a lot of soft skills that we have today is because of the ability to multitask, because I think performing arts is equally as demanding as academics.
Yes.
So I think you beautifully laid it out for those who are listening to us. So moving on, giving back to the society, you have always stood by this phrase. What are the things that you have done thus far to give back to the society in terms of the performing arts industry?
As you might have already known, my career also has, I chose that path to do CSR and sustainability. That's where my career is. But in terms of performing arts, yes, I always believed in giving back to society, because I realized that we came with nothing. Everything we got is from this world. Actually, it's only a temporary home for us. we are actually here for a while, and then we will leave. Nobody is, immortal, right? So during your stay here, you came. It's like you're a guest. When you're a guest, you're taking the air, you're taking the sunshine and everything that nature gives you, and whatever the universe has to provide, everything you're getting without, you're not paying for that, right? So it's your duty as human to also give back. So it's like when you go to your to someone's house as a guest, you don't go without anything in you will always take some fruits or some flowers, some little gift, right? Just like that. So when you're here, we must give back no matter whatever industry we are in. So in performing arts, that's why in Sugam Karnatica we are very very careful about how we conduct the classes and what we offer. So our motto also, we provide affordable and quality arts education. So you can check all over Malaysia. Our pricing is like no other, simply because we didn't want an economic barrier. We want to encourage more and more people to learn the arts. So the one way we can do that is to make sure that price is not the barrier, right? So to me, that's already a form of giving back. So we offer 2 subjects, then our creative writing and theatre and visual art and Tamil language, whatever, everything is offered for free. We don't charge. For me, that is giving back, because we take a little bit because we need to sustain, but we also give you back, and we make sure that whatever we provide is of quality, and the value should be beyond the monetary that is taken. So
I think you put it really well about, especially the part on arts being accessible. I think to a certain extent, there is, as arts itself is niche, and then with people not having access to it, we are not able to spread awareness on the arts and give accessibility to those who should have the opportunity to.
Yeah, we also give, I forgot just to add on, we also give sponsorships extensively for children who come from the B40 backgrounds. Yeah, for many years we've been doing that. So there's many ways of giving, and every program that we do, we make sure that it is that word that you used, accessible, and money is monetarily, that will be the first line, because otherwise priority is tuition, right? So we wanted to remove that. I wanted to ensure that most children are able to come and learn. So we provided the scholarships and whatever way we can give back to include. Inclusion was the most important motto.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Sujietra. Very well said. I still remember those words always ringing in my ears, that you always say that whatever you've been taught, you have to give back to other people, and that's what your teacher has told you, and that's what you tell to all your students as well. So moving on, my ICMF, Malaysian Indian Carnatic Music Festival, was your brainchild. What were the initial objectives of this program? Did you manage to achieve it? And could you just give a small, brief explanation about my ICMF for the listeners who actually...
Sure. My ICMF is Malaysia International Carnatic Music Festival. So yes, I curated the program and wanted it to be something where we have students, artists, music lovers from different parts of the world, a point where they could connect, one platform where they could connect, and came up with the 3 C's, which is concerts, conferences and competitions. So in the first year, we had that, and that was the initial objective. First year in 2019, we started with conferences and concerts. We didn't have the competitions because it was new, wanted to see how it was, but we had very good response over here. And then, of course, we wanted to build on the next year, but the pandemic came.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Sujietra. If I may draw a reference, please correct me if I'm wrong, similarly to what they have in South India during December, which is music season, is that along the lines of what my ICMF went on to achieve, to set a sort of platform for artists to meet in Malaysia?
That wasn't the motive, because in December season, if you notice, it's always it's happening in India, right? It's the Indians who perform there. You and I don't perform in India, you know what I mean? Because they've got enough to sustain. So, but my ICMF, my motive was different. Actually, I wanted to connect artists from different countries, but to come to Malaysia. Actually, I still have this dream of Malaysia becoming the Asian one-stop center for Carnatic music and dance. So I wanted Malaysia to become that diaspora, to create the diaspora for artists to come here, and not in December. The idea is not in December.
Okay.
December we all want to go there, right? So another time, come here. So where not only the Indians are performing, but we have people from other countries coming here to perform, as well as our Malaysian artists as well. So that was the whole idea, and not just music and dance, the concert part of it. I was very keen into knowledge conferences where there is talks between the various countries. Like if a musician from India speaks to and a musician from Malaysia speak, they may be performing the same art, but it's different because the environment is different. So those kind of knowledge sharing, and that was what I was very keen in. And of course, the third component, competitions.
Yeah, thank you, Miss. So, okay, moving on to the next question. After achieving a major success in 2019, conducting my ICMF physically, were you hesitant to go all online in 2020, 2021, and 2022, like this year?
Yeah, actually, I didn't know about the online. I always only thought about physical, and in 2020 we wanted to start off the competitions after the first year, but the pandemic came and everyone said, okay, we can't do it. But I have no idea how I mustered the courage and said no, we will do it. No one had a clue how to do it, but no, we will do it. So we kicked off competitions and conferences and concerts, everything online. And for the competitions, we received entries from 13 countries. So, and we had for the first year, we had about 380 over entries. No clue how to do, figuring out, this is how. And we learned so many things in such a short span of time. And it was a roaring success, I must say. And then we said, no, we will continue 2021. We thought pandemic will be gone, but it was not gone. So 2021, we received 14 countries, one country extra, and we received 526 entries. So you see, I was not hesitant. For me, it was very simple. I don't want to stop. Because if you stop, there is nothing to look forward to. And we had no clue when the pandemic is going to end. So the only thing we could do at the time was to have hope and keep moving. And that's all we did. Just move. Doesn't matter how. We did the same with the school. Entire school, we just went online because we do not know when this thing is going to end, and we can't stop learning. What else is there to look forward to? So just move. That's all I did. Just move.
I think the pandemic definitely had its benefits in making the world smaller, bringing us closer.
Yes.
To the performing arts industry, it also was a huge challenge. So how was it like sustaining through the pandemic and coming out on the other side?
Correct. So there were the good things because we connected with the world, but there were the bad things as well. Like in Sugam Karnatica, we had a very big challenge because we had 2 buildings at the time, and I'm sure Sanjay will know. We had to give up one of the buildings, which we were there already for 10 years. So, but we had to give up because there was no revenue. Revenue dropped because student numbers dropped about 40% down, because for various reasons. Some didn't have laptops, some had no internet connection, some just couldn't learn online, some parents had lost their jobs, and for so many reasons, we lost students. And we could not do anything. As much as we could, those who said they lost jobs, we still told them, please come, never mind, you don't have to pay, just come. But people who had no internet access or didn't have laptops, we just couldn't do anything, because we ourselves didn't have enough, so we had pay cuts, teachers took pay cuts, staff, management, like almost 50%, or sometimes months we never took salaries because we just wanted to keep the organization afloat. And so we gave up that building, and somehow we just kept, as I said, we kept moving. Every way that we could survive, we did things out of the arts. I even cooked biryani, during the pandemic, sell biryani, because and we put pictures of me cooking and stuff, where parents, a lot of people bought. We had like 300-400 orders, for biryani. So we did things like that to sustain. Why? Because just to earn that little extra of 2,000 or 1,000 ringgit, which we could pay off something, or pay a staff, or pay the electricity bill, whatever, just to stay afloat. So the challenges were huge, and there was not much support at that time, because everybody was already scraping the bottom. So you can't blame anyone. So yeah, just kept moving. We did whatever we could to stay afloat.
I think it was definitely a really challenging time, considering that performing arts itself is an expensive endeavor, and it's more of you giving and less receiving.
Yes.
In a world where people don't really want to pay for the arts, they look at it as something secondary, right?
Not just secondary, they look at it as luxury. So when you ask for sponsorships for the arts, they'll say, no, I need to feed somebody who's hungry. Because arts is not a necessity. Because they are looking at it from the entertainment point of view. So it's always been treated as a luxury. But if you ask me, to me arts is a necessity. Why necessity? For me, arts should be looked at as education, not as something as an extracurricular activity. Just like how a child is taught math or science or history, geography. Why? Is every child going to become a historian? No. But it's essential to learn it, right? Just like that, arts is so important for the development of human potential. For the development of a human being, you need the arts education. It should be made as part of education, so that people stop looking at it as luxury. So I just wanted to add on to whatever you were saying just now. Yeah.
Thank you, Miss. So, the next question is actually going to revolve around the answers you said, but maybe you could go in depth a bit on describing how do you think that what is the importance of classical music in today's world, especially in youth?
I already told you how important arts education is for the growth of a child, and of course, into youth and adult, all through. The education of arts itself, scientifically, it works on your brain. We already know that. Behavioral change in terms of scientifically, then you look at it from a perspective of development, like what you earlier said. It molds your thinking, character development. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you grit. It gives you confidence. It builds your esteem. I can go on and on what arts education does for a person, right? So why isn't it not important? It is important. So when I say arts education, is it only singing or dancing? No, arts comprises quite a large spectrum, right? So we can take arts. It can be even theatre, visual drawing, painting. Now they even look at it as therapy, and music. The benefits of listening to music. That's one, because about raga therapy. Certain ragas can heal you. Certain melodies, it can heal. It can change mood. People who have Alzheimer's, now they have come up with research that they should be playing the piano or listening to some music. Development of a child's brain, because the kind of neuron activity that takes place in the brain, all these contributes to human potential. So arts education is so essential, and we are also looking at just now I said art for music, listening, playing music, instruments helps with what? Cognitive development, neuromotor development. It helps you with memory. It helps you with structured thinking, because there's a certain order, isn't it? When you learn music, you have to remember the notes. It helps with leveling your right brain on your left brain, because you're working between beat and melody. So it's education. It's so important. So it's not luxury. Every child must be given the opportunity to learn classical music. They must learn any form of English or Western or Carnatic or whatever else there is, they should learn. It is very, very important.
I mean, we've all learned our sejarah and history, and through civilizations after civilizations, we have an aspect which talks about arts and culture, which means it's not, as you said, today it's considered a luxury, but if we really look into it, it is truly a necessity in sustaining and building an individual that's holistically rounded. And for that, my next question would be, how do you manage balance between meeting the commercial realities which come with performing arts being considered part of the entertainment industry, whilst trying to preserve the authenticity of the art form?
That's a tough question because I have not succeeded. I would say because okay, but I have done some things, so let me just share. So commercially viable means that whatever that you're putting up should be not show worthy, it should be accepted. That means people want to come and watch it, right? So we have done some things that will, let's say, okay, for instance, we've done fusion concerts, okay, because I know fusion concerts are less serious as opposed to pure Carnatic, which very, very few people will appreciate. But fusion, at least you can draw in a certain crowd. But how we maintain the authenticity doing that kind of concerts is when we sing, we do not change anything. That means we are singing authentic Carnatic music. We are singing authentic Carnatic. There's no change in anything. But we fuse it with Western elements. That means only the instruments are Western. That means we bring in guitar or drum. In fact, one of our concerts we had drums, we had bass guitar and the guitar acoustic, and then we had keyboards, and then but our singing never changed. We just sang. That's it. There's no change in our style of singing. So that's how we got the balance lah. And so it was the show was a sellout show, but yeah, it was. But as I said, we maintain the authenticity. Just like that, we have got some programs like Samarpanam, which we do. We've been doing that for 30 years, where the story or the storyline is always we don't change the storyline. That means it's a heritage story, but we always we have lightened it so that the spectators can accept, easier to penetrate. So we will. The dancers are not. It could be using a different sort of music, something like that, to lighten the heaviness of that production. So like that, we have done some balancing acts, right? But again, but keeping the authenticity is so important, because otherwise the younger generation won't know which is the actual story or which is the actual way of doing it. Is this the altered, so we can't do that. We can't confuse the kids, or whoever, who, next time if somebody's watching, is this the actual story? So we can't do that. So that's how we balance it.
I think it's truly a juggle, right, to try and keep both. You need to sell tickets, but you also need to preserve the authenticity. We see today especially so much of distortion of the actual authenticity of certain art forms just to get the crowd in.
Yes.
And to get a crowd that appreciates it in its true beauty can be really hard. So those are the questions we have for you today, Ms. Sujietra. Do you have any final words you'd like to share to the audience who are listening to your interview, and any reminders you would like to share with them?
I just want to, I've already said it, but I just want to say that arts, to create audiences who appreciate and who can embrace art, the art form as it is, you need to educate them before they become audience. So when arts education happens as part of the education since young, what happens is not everybody becomes an artist, but you will have learned audience who are able to embrace and accept, because they have an education, they have an awareness already of those art forms. So I would, all those who are working in this industry, I think we need to also see, we're always looking at the issue. The issue is we can't fill halls. We come up with such great productions, regardless whether it's Carnatic or Western or Malay or Chinese or whatever it is. As long as it's a classical production, we cannot fill halls. Why? Simply because we don't have an audience that can appreciate, and that will never happen till we fix the root problem, which is education in the arts. That needs to happen. If that happens, this audience issue will be resolved. Then we can fill halls like how India is able to fill halls. Why? Because they've had it. The music and dance education is part of their system. It's part of their lives. So until that happens, so the word I think in Malaysia we are using is enculturation of the arts. So not just looking at arts as entertainment. We have to look at enculturation of the arts so that we can later all be entertained in a more holistic way. We can, as an artist or as an audience, we can also be a very cultured society, and a society that can understand and appreciate arts and culture is really a developed society.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sujietra. And to those listening, that is the first episode of our culture series. Stay tuned for our next